Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Joy House. Welcome. So basically, in this reading, this is gonna be for a reading for Leo as a fire sign and as a zodiac sign. This is gonna be for September 5th to September 10th of 2025. So this is gonna be for individual reading for Leo. It's gonna be for a tarot card reading. So we're going to figure out what's happening in this dialogue of how it goes and this remain of how it's going to be. So this is going to be very interesting of how interesting of how it goes. So if you like this reading, please give a like, please comment if you want. But this is how it's going to be in that way, and you have to play by the rules and understand about how it's going to be. So you have to understand about how it goes, right? So that's how it is. But for reference, you have to understand about how you're going to be doing it as you're going to fulfilling. Leo, you pay attention to what's going on. You have to, do what you're going to be told to do. That's how it goes, right? So, this is how it's going to be, and you have to understand about your own strengths, your own weaknesses, your abilities from how it goes, and you have to know about it how it is in that way. And you think that everything's going to be fine. But then that's how it goes in that way. So you have to play by the rules and understand how it goes. So we're gonna figure out what's happening in this situation, and we're gonna go with the flow with this situation of how it goes in that way. So this is how it's gonna be in that way, and this is the way it kind of goes in that the way how it works, right? So that's how it's gonna be. But for you, Leo, we're gonna figure out what's happening in this dialogue and the way how this is. So this just seems to be very very touching. This is how it goes. This is going to be how it is, but this is how it's going to be in that way. And I hope you all like this video. Please give a like, please give a comment if you want, but this is how it goes. So here we go. So the way how this is that you have to understand about how it's going to be in this way, because this is the way it goes. So the Magician's reverse, there's no skill. I don't know why you have no skill, Leo, but this is how it goes. The Five of Swords right, there's conflict here. I don't know why you're having conflict, because you're not getting yourself organized, whatever it is. You're trying to discontinue it, whatever it is. So you might be dealing with another generally Aquarius in that way, because that's how it goes. The World reverse, there's incompletion. Everything is like incompleted. You don't know why it is. But you understand that how it goes in that way. You're trying to be virtue. You're trying to have your own aspect. You're trying to believe about what's going on in that way, because there is uncertainty of how it is in that way. Nine Pentacles separate. You're feeling comfortable because everything seems to be happening all at once, and that's how it goes. So you might deal with another Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus in that way, and everything else. The King comes to separate. There's support here. When you have support, you have the ability from the right and wrong perspective. But the way how this is, you need to understand that this is the way how it is now, as it is, and everything varies in all the possibilities all at once, and that's how it goes. So you might be dealing with another Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, and the Tower is upright. There's transformation. Everything's changing because that's how it goes in that way. So this is seems to be. So you have to understand that the way how this is, you're trying to accept what you want, but you have the ability to understand that. So I'm going to clarify this Magician card. Now once reverse, so there's no immaturity. Lover silver, there's decisions. Queen Pentacles silver, there's basically stability, because you might be having prosperity about money, or you're trying to do like what I told you because you're trying to be responsible. If you have decisions, you're making decisions already. You're trying to have what it takes, because that's how it goes. It's like you're trying to read between the lines. Only you do it as wonderful feeling, but this is how it is. This is like a backdrop in the situation, whether you like it or not. But then this is how it's gonna be. You're trying to figure out, I know what to do. All right, I know how it is. This just seems to be in the way how it goes, and this is like almost a pre-warning. But the way how this is the way it seems to be in that way. What's this Five of Swords about? It says Pentacles yours, there's no kindness. Five of Swords yours, there's no conflict. The Second Cup, there's a delusion, right? So when you have no kindness, you're not showing any kindness whatsoever. You don't know why it's happening for you, Leo, because things are not happening all at once. But but you know how it is because it's like, you know, you're trying to figure out why you're doing it in that way because you're trying to go with the flow. And when you go with the flow, you know how it is because that's how it goes in that way. You're trying to remain of how you're feeling that way. What's the opposite between the Five of Swords and the Six of Pentacles? The Two of Pentacles here, you are unbalanced. The Moon reverse, there's misrepresentations. The Queen of Cups over, there's empathy. Yeah, because there's two sides of the story here. What makes sense, what doesn't make sense. But you know what I mean. So you have to understand about the way how this is. You need to understand about the way how you're trying to understand, because you're not trying to avoid conflict. But if you are, then it's like, why do you keep doing it in the way how it is, right? That's how it goes. And when you do it, you have to face your own abilities from the right and wrong perspective. That's all you can do in that way, right? So you're trying to understand that. What's this world card about? 3 Wands reverse, there's no communication. 3 Cups reverse, there's no celebration. The World is upright, there's completion. Yes, everything's completed because that's how it goes. But when you have the 3 of Wands and the 3 of Cups reverse, there's no celebration, there's no communication. But to clarify that, that's the 4 of Pentacles is upright. You're looking for money. You're looking for about how it is in that way because everything's happening all at once, and you're trying to figure out why you're doing it in that way. So it's like you're trying to go with the flow, and when you go with the flow, you pay attention to what's happening in that way, right? You're trying to use your own stability to understand what you want, what you get, but you're trying to do exactly what you're told to do because that's how it goes in that way. It's like, okay, everything needs to be fine. Alright, you know what to do because that's how it goes. You need to understand that. And when things to be in that perspective, that's all you can do in that way, right? That's how it seems to be. What's between this 9 Pentacles here? The 10 Pentacles here, so there's no money. 2 Cups here, there's no relationships or friendships. The Devil's upright, there's obsessions and addictions, right? So you might be trying to figure out like, oh, well, this is not going to end well. No, it's not. It's when you have no money, when you're feeling like everything is unkind, you know, untrue. You know, the ability that you need to understand that you're trying to be who you are because you're trying to figure out who's who in this situation. You're trying to know what's going to comply to you, or you're going to compel what you're feeling. But the way how this is, you're trying to understand that you're not trying to say bad language. You're not trying to, say any bad words or anything like that. But the way how this is like things are not going, all at once, right? So if you have money, if you don't have money, if you have friends, if you don't have friends, if you have relationships, you don't. But when you're acting like you're being mean or you're being, narcissistic, whatever it is, or pessimism, whatever it is, you pay attention to how you're feeling in that way, right? I'm not trying to be mean or rude, but it's just the reading of how it goes, right? So you might be dealing with a Capricorn as a earth sign, but you understand how it is in that way. What's between this 2 Cups and this 10 Pentacles here? Magician is upright, yeah, because you want skill. You want skill because you want to understand that, because you're trying to level of how you're feeling in that way, and everything's feeling all at once, because everything seems to be, right? This is like a nitty-gritty, but the way how this is, you're trying to do exactly what you're told to do, because you're trying to be responsible of how you're feeling in that way. It's like, alright, this is seems to be all happening all at once. Alright, this is how it goes. Yes, but you're trying to understand what it is in that way. It's like you're trying to go with the flow. And when you go with the flow, you pay attention to how it's going on in that way, right? This is how it's going to be. And everything has to be all good, but this is not short and sweet. This is not the way how it happens. But you have to have your own guidelines to understand what you want in that way. Let's have one of this Tower card. The 7 of Swords, you're not feeling your silence. 9 of Cups, there's no romance. 8 of Cups, there's no prosperity of romance. But the Page of Pentacles is upright, yeah, because you want to have your own invention. You want to be a good inventor, how it is, because you understand how it goes in that way. It's like, okay, everything's to be fine, alright. But the way of this is the way it seems to be. This is not a nitty-gritty situation, but the way how this is like, this is how it goes in that way. You know how it is, but you have to try to know what it takes in that way. You're trying to go with the flow, and when you do it, that's the way it seems to be in that way, right? So you have to understand that. What's between the King of Cups here? The 10 of Swords, there's there's basic conclusions. 2 on Taurus, there's no planning. 3 of Swords, there's heartbreak, yeah, because you're feeling sad, you're whimpering, you don't know what to do. You're saying like, "Well, it was me. I can't do this anymore. I quit." It's like, yes, but the possibilities are very horrendous because you have to stand that, right? That's the way it seems to be. So, that's how it goes. So, I'm going to go from the middle into this situation. So, we have the Hangman reverse. There's no restrictions. Not yet, but, give it time because you need it as a wonderful feeling. So, let me clarify between the left side here. The Hierophant is upright, there's guidance. Fool is upright, there's change. Wheel of Fortune reverse, you're having bad luck. Alright, that's how it goes. This is like why you're staying in that position, because that's how it goes. I'm going to do a crossover. So I'm going to go from the Queen of Cups, the Hangman, all the way to the Ten of Swords here. The Lotus reverse, there's no decisions. Chest reverse, there's no time of truth. Hand reverse, there's no restrictions. The Chariot is upright, there's progress. Yes, in that way, because you're trying to figure out who's who in this, how it is, because that's the way it seems to be. What's between this 4 of Pentacles all the way to the Magician. The Death card is upright, there's endings. World is upright, there's completion. Strength card reverse, there's no bravery. Sun card reverse, there's negativity. Taurus reverse, there's no healing. The Moon is upright, there's misrotations, yeah. So when you're staying in negativity, you're drawn to that point. It's like everything is not going as planned, but you're trying to figure out that, oh well, I don't know what to do now. I quit. Yes, but in that motivation, you're trying to figure out what's happening in that way. What's between this Devil card here? So let me figure out this. Temperance reverse, there's no healing. Tarot is upright, there's transformation. The Hermit reverse, you already have a soulmate. The High Priestess reverse, there's no solitude or inner voice. The Chariot is upright, there's progress. Yeah, because you're making progress in the way how this is. So it's like, okay, everything is going to be, how it goes. I'm trying to understand this. I'm trying to know what it is in that way, right? You're trying to go with the flow. And when you do it, that's the way it seems to be. Because that's how it goes in that way. What's happening with this Page of Pentacles about? The Judgment is upright. You're taking action. Yes. In that way of how it goes, you're trying to have your own life skills. Because the way how this is, you're trying to understand about how it goes. So let me go from the middle to left, middle to right. The Ten of Swords reverse, there's no all these conclusions. 4 Pentacles reverse, there's no money. 6 Wands reverse, there's no celebration. 2 Pentacles reverse, you are, unbalanced. 4 Wands reverse, there's no celebration. Strength card is upright, there's bravery. So basically, you're being like, you have strength, Leo, but then you don't have strength, right? So you're trying to figure out that this is like a mini pause in the way how it goes, but you're trying to go with the flow. You're trying to pay attention to what you're trying to feel in its vibration. You're trying to figure out what's happening in that way, right? That's how it goes. When things to be in a perspective, you know how it goes, right? So you're trying to not force yourself, but the way how this is, you're trying to understand how it goes in that way. It's like, oh, this seems to be happening all at once. Yes, but then you understand that in that way. You're trying to compel yourself. You're trying to know who you are. You're trying to know who you're dealing with, whatever it is. And you have to understand that of how it goes in that way. What's between the middle and right side, please? The 5 Cups reverse, there's no grief. The Emperor is upright, there's structure. 9 Pentacles upright, there's trust. 3 Pentacles reverse, there's no excitement. And the Hermit is upright, there's solitude, because you might be looking for a soulmate. Obviously, it might be that, because you're trying to figure out why you're happening all at this once. You're trying to understand about, there is a wise choice to understand it. You're trying to figure out who's who in this situation, whether you're trying to demand yourself, you're trying to, concrete of how it goes. You're trying to figure out what's happening in this way. You're not trying to have your own battleground, but the way how this is, you're trying to use the force, or maybe you're trying to figure out what's happening in that way, right? That's how it goes. What's in the middle of this situation? The justice is upright. You're basically saying that you're telling the truth in the way how this is, because this is like divine timing. And when it's divine timing, you know how it goes in that way, is you're trying to acknowledge of who it is in this way, because you're trying to understand that. So let's see what's happening on the left side. Wheel of Fortune, so you're having bad luck. What's in the middle? King Cups, there's no support. Alright, what's on the right side? The Chariots are right, there's progress. Alright, so the way how this is, so let me clarify of this Wheel of Fortune on the left side, please. The 3 Wands here, there's no communication. 3 Cups here, there's no celebration. Alright, so let me clarify that. And the 4 Wands, alright, there is celebration. Yeah, so maybe you're going to a wedding, maybe you're not going to go to a wedding, maybe you're trying to figure out that everything's all fine, dandy, but then it's like, no, it's not. If you're having bad luck when you have no communication, this is not going to end well, Leo. You pay attention to how you're feeling and the way how it is. You're trying to figure out, oh, well, everything's going to be fine. All right, I know what to do. Yes, but you have to compel yourself. You're trying to know what's going to be happening all at once, you know. This is the way it seems to be. You're trying to figure out, you know, who's bothering you, who's playing games, who's playing mind games, who's, touching your emotions, whatever it is. You're trying to understand about how it goes in that way. You're trying to, figure out what's happening in that way, and you're trying to go with the flow. When you do it, that's the way it seems to be in that way, because everything has to be all great, but then this is how it goes. You're trying to figure out what's happening in that way, right? That's why when you do that, that's the way it seems to be all at once, because you're trying to understand about this situation, no matter how you're feeling in that way, right? You're trying to go with the flow. When you do it, that's how it goes. What's happening with this King of Cups here? Ace of Swords here, so there's a misunderstanding. And the Judgment Seven, you're taking action. Followed by the Taurus Seven, you want healing. Yes, you want healing, but you want to take action, but there's a misunderstanding. Yes. When you have a misunderstanding, you know how it goes in that way, Leo, because you understand about how it goes. You're trying to understand about the way how it works in this whole entire society, right? So when the way how it is, you know how it goes in that way. It's like, oh, right, everything's going to be fine. All right, you know what to do, yes. But you have to understand that you're trying to believe that everything's going to be fine all at once. Yes, but you're trying to understand that. You're trying to figure out about what's going on, right? You're trying to find the pieces. You're trying to, find pieces of a puzzle in this situation. You know what I mean? That's how it goes in that way, and you have to understand that in the way how it goes. Let's put this Chariot card. The Moon reverse, there's some expectations. The Hierophant reverse, there's no guidance. The Empress reverse, there's no nourishment. Ace of Swords reverse, there's no anxiety. 10 Wands reverse, there's no burdens. King of Swords reverse, there's no knowledge. 6 Swords separate, there's movement. Yes, there is movement here, because the way how this is, you're trying to figure out, what's going to be happening all at once. Is you're trying to figure out, how it is in that way to understand that, right? So you're trying to believe that everything's going to be fine all at once, and you have to understand that. You're trying to get what you want, but you're trying to compel yourself. You're trying to be who you are, and you're trying to be authentic. You're trying to believe in yourself. That's the way you seem to be in that way. What's happening with this? So I'm going to get one card from the 4 Wands. So that's completion. Everything's completed. Alright, that's how it goes. What's in the middle? The Chariot reverse, there's no progress. Alright. What's on the right side? The Sun card, there is negativity. Alright, so this is the way how it happens, but this is the way it seems to be. So let's see what's going on with this World card here. The Lotus reverse, there's no decisions. Moon reverse, there's miscommunications. But the Empress over, there's nourishment. Yes. So basically you're acting like you're trying to have your own mental ability of having your own feminism as a masculine woman in this situation, maybe. But that's how it goes. You're trying to force yourself that you're trying to understand that. Whether you need to understand the ability from the right or wrong perspective, that's all you can do, but you have to realize about what's happening in that way. You're trying to, do exactly what you're told to do, because you're trying to be responsible. You're trying to know how it is in the way how it is, right? Everything has to be all good, but then this is how it seems to be. If you know about the alphabet, you know how it goes from A to Z. You know, that's how it seems to be. And when you do that, that's the way it goes, in the way how it seems to be in that way. What's happening with this Chariot card? The Justice upright, you're telling the truth. The Strength card is upright, there's bravery, so it does represent Leo as another fire sign. So, you know, as a zodiac sign, you pay attention to it. But the way how this is, if you're telling the truth, you know what's going to be happening all at once. And you think, alright, everything's going to be fine, alright, I know what to do. Yes, but there are lots of possibilities out there to understand that. You're trying to understand about the ability from a wrong perspective, that's all you can do. But then you have to try to realize about, oh, everything seems to be fine, yes. But you have to try to understand about who you are, and you're trying to understand, oh, well, this seems to be fine, alright, but this is the way it works. This is how you have to believe that everything seems to be fine at all at once. You know, that's all you can do, but then you have to resist of how you're feeling in that way. What's this Sun card about? Wheel of Fortune is alright, you're having good luck. The Emperor reverse, there's no structure. Sun card reverse, there's basically negativity. Yeah, because you're back and forth. You're back and forth with the negativity because things are not going as planned. You know, it's like, why are you doing it? Why you keep, you know, have your own feeling because you're trying to understand that. That's how it goes. So let me clarify this Sun card here. The Hero card reverse, there's no guidance, but the stars upright, there's basically inspiration. Yes. So when things to be happening all at once, you think, oh, everything seems to be fine. Yes, but in that criteria, you know how it goes in that way, right? So everything has to be happening all at once, right? So that's all it is. So let's see what's happening on the left side here. The Death card is upright. There's basically endings here, but you might be focusing on Scorpio as another water sign. What's in the middle? The Page of Wands reverse, okay, and let's see on the right side, the Strength card is upright, there's bravery, alright, so basically that represents Leo again. So let's see what's happening with this Death card about. The Emperor is upright, there's nourishment. A Wands upright, there's basically speed, yes, because you want everything happening all at once, and when you do it, that's how it goes. You're trying to be who you are, you're trying to be authentic, you're trying to understand about your own beliefs, your own abilities of how it goes. You're trying to have your own stigma. You're trying to know what it is in that way. You're trying to have your own self-control in that way because you understand that. That's how it goes. So when things to be happening all at once, you understand that in the way how it goes. You're trying to acknowledge of who you are in that way. What's happening with this Page of Wands about? The Three of Cups upright, there's celebration. Moon is upright, there's manifestations. Yes, because the moon is affecting you of how it goes. When you have a celebration, you're being celebrated, alright, everything's fine, alright. But when the moon is affecting you, that's how it goes. It's like, why that the moon is affecting me, or why it's affecting you, whatever it is. You're trying to understand that. When the moon is that, there are, you know, invisible energies are around you, and you don't unexpect that. But the way how this is, you're trying to understand about how it goes in that way, right? That's how it seems to be. You're trying to acknowledge of something, and you have to understand that in that way. So let's see what's this moon card about. The Nine of Cups here, there's no fulfillment. King of Swords here, there's no knowledge. Ten of Swords here, there's no conclusions, but the Eight of Pentacles upright, there's perfection. Everything's all perfect. Yes, it is. But then it's like, why are you doing it? Why you keep not trying to mess about? But the way how it is that you're trying to acknowledge of who you are in that way. You're trying to understand about the ability from how you're feeling right now. And this is how it goes, right? This seems to be happening. And when you do it, that's the way it goes. In that way, you're trying to understand that. And when you do, that's the way it seems to be, because you're trying to focus about the right or wrong perspective, or the way how it goes in that way. This seems to be, but this is how time passes on. And when it does that, that's how it goes in that way. Because it could affect you, or it could be affecting somebody else, whatever it is, but you understand of how it goes in that way. What's the Strength card about? Page of Cups, you want loyalty. Ten Pentacles, you want to focusing on your career, because that's how it goes. Alright, so when you have, Page of Cups, you want loyalty, you want things to be happening all at once, alright? That's how it goes. What this Ten Pentacles about? The word is right there is completion, yes, because everything's completed all at once, and you're thinking, alright, this seems to be happening, alright, this is all I can do, but then this seems to be, this is the way it goes. So let's see what the universe is saying here. So let me go from the middle to left, middle to right. Eight Pentacles, there's no perfection, alright? Nine of Swords, there's trauma. Queen Wands is upright, there's charisma. Ten Pentacles, there's no wealth. And the Hangman is upright, there's basically restrictions, because you're being restricted, and that's how it goes. It's like, why are you being restricted? Because that's how it goes. When you do it, that's the way it seems to be. So it's like you're feeling like, oh, everything's fine, but it's like, no, it's not. So you have to have about your own ability, whether you have money or not, or whether you're trying to figure out that, oh, well, I can't do this anymore, I quit, or the way how it goes. It's that you have to understand about your own ability to realize that you might have money or not, but it all depends on you. That's how it goes. And when you do it, that's the way it seems to be, because we're trying to focus on what's happening in that way. Let's between the middle and the right side, please. The Four of Wands here says no celebration. Three Pentacles, there's excitement. The Empress, there's nourishment. Ace of Cups here says no satisfaction. High Priest here says no invoice. Five Cups here says no grief. Six of Wands here, there's no achievement. King of Pentacles is upright, there's security, because you're having your own security in that way, and everything seems to be fine all at once, and that's how it goes, right? You're trying to compel who you're feeling in that way, and that's how it goes. You're trying to acknowledge that everything's fine, but it's not, right? So you're trying to understand, but you're trying to have your own independence, whether you like it or not, but you have to understand that, right? Everything seems to be fine, but it's not. That's how it goes, Leo. You pay attention to it. What's in the middle? Knight of Wands, there's no immaturity, but a Knight of Pentacles, there's trust. Yes, so you have to have your own sensibility to have trust. You have your own sincerity. You're trying to understand about how it goes in that way, because you need to understand that, right? So the way how this is, the way how everything seems to be fine all at once, you have to understand that, right? So the way how this is, you need to understand that the way how this is in that way, you need to understand that, and you have to have your own abilities, and you have to understand that, right? So you have to believe that you have to go from right to left, or left to right, or, that's how it goes. But that's what the universe is saying, is like, you need to have trust. You have to have the way how it goes, right? So that's how it seems to be. But the way how this is the way it goes. This is how it happens. So I hope you all like this video. Please give it a like. Please leave a comment if you want. But the way how this is the way how it goes. So I hope you all like it. Please leave a like. Please get a comment if you want. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day to all. And I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye for now. Really, thanks. And bye.